Namaskar, welcome back. So the topic for today is two very simple ideations, easy to do and always effective, that will help you stay in a pleasant, inspired, happy mood during the day. And also good for meditation. In their personal lives, human beings are very weak, possessing hardly any strength at all. In the world, there are many animals who are physically stronger than humans. Humans are generally stronger mentally than animals, although sometimes, due to extreme pain and suffering, the mind also becomes very weak. What should people do under such circumstances? How can people increase their strength? When people consider themselves to be separate from Paramapurusha, they become weak. But when people consider themselves to be his children, and thus very close to him, they are never weak. The strength of Paramapurusha remains with them. How can people increase their strength? How can they feel that they are getting strength from Paramapurusha and will continue to get strength? Human beings should make the fullest utilization of their inborn strength. Unless they do this, they will have no right to ask Paramapurusha for more strength. If one continues breathing, if one continues to move, to eat, and to speak, it means one still has strength. If you have exhausted all your strength, will you be able to do anything? When you move, eat, and breathe with the strength previously given to you by Paramapurusha, how can you complain that he did not give you enough strength? First, make the fullest utilization of the strength you already have. When you consider that this strength is all but exhausted, you may ask Paramapurusha, "O Lord, the strength you have given me is not enough to complete my assigned task. If you expect me to complete my work, please give me extra strength." Remember, you have no right to ask for extra strength if you are not fully utilizing your own inherent strength. One attains this strength in exchange for one's devotion, not in exchange for one's knowledge. What is devotion? Every individual has two eyes. The small eye, who may be Ramesh, Umesh, Tom, or Dick, and the bigger I. That is, each human being has a small individual I and is part of the one big I, which is Paramapurusha. Paramapurusha is not an external entity for you, but is your big I. To fully understand this truth is devotion. When people are established in devotion, they attain a state called Ishta-nishta, devotion for one's goal. In that stage, there is but one dominant thought. Whatever I do, be it social, political, or socio-economic service, the motivating thought in my mind will be to please Paramapurusha. Why should we please Paramapurusha? Why should political and socio-economic service for the masses please him? All beings on this earth are his children. If one serves his children, he will certainly be pleased. If you wish to please a mother, take her baby from her lap and give it much love and affection. Thus, if you wish to please Paramapurusha, serve all his children. Please him by helping his children. You have only one goal, to please Paramapurusha in all possible ways whenever any opportunity presents itself. I'm just going to read that last sentence again. Thus, if you wish to please Paramapurusha, serve all his children. Please him by helping his children. You have only one goal: to please Paramapurusha in all possible ways whenever an opportunity presents itself. So there's a lot of really nice guidance in this discourse. And the first one is, when people consider themselves to be separate from Paramapurusha, they become weak. So it's this feeling, I am alone, I am separate, I'm isolated. That is what makes us weak. But when people consider themselves to be his children, and thus very close to him, they are never weak. The strength of Paramapurusha remains with them. So, how to get that feeling? It's a simple ideation. The ideation or the thought that I am one with Paramapurusha, it's a bit, it's not always easy to experience that meaning or to feel that meaning, especially when you're feeling separate, right? So, but the ideation that I am your child, that's something that everybody can understand. So I think that's why it's very useful. I am not alone. Rather than trying to, sometimes, especially in meditation, we should aim at that feeling of oneness. But when we're moving around, when we're busy, it's difficult to find the time to feel that I am really one with Paramapurusha. But you can remember easily, I am not alone. I am your child. So in that way, it's simple and it's easy to use, and thus very helpful. Remember, you have no right to ask for extra strength. If you are not fully utilizing your own inherent strength, one attains this strength in exchange for one's devotion, not in exchange for one's knowledge. I remember once when I was in hospital, I just had an operation. I was feeling really weak, and that weakness made me feel depressed. And I felt, I wonder if I'll ever be able to get out of this hospital alive. And then I read some similar passage to this where Baba was, he said that everybody, even an 100-year-old woman has some strength, right? Utilize what strength you are given first. And somehow then I started telling myself, yeah, I may be sick or I may be weak or whatever, but I have some strength, so let's use it. And I started, and it gave me the motivation and the inspiration to help myself and to get out of bed, to walk around and to have a positive mental attitude and to think what I could do to improve my circumstances. And in fact, I think that was the most powerful, motivating thought that helped me in my time during when I was in hospital. I do have some strength. I've got some strength. Instead of focusing on the strength that you don't have and how weak you feel, which, as you think you become. If you think I'm weak, you become weaker. But if you focus, even if it's only a little strength, if you focus on the strength that you do have, I have some strength, then that focus on strength makes you stronger. So I found that very helpful. And then it talks a little bit about devotion and says, the secret of devotion is understanding that Paramapurusha is your own great I. Paramapurusha is not an external entity for you, but is your big I. To fully understand this truth is devotion. Well, I can't say that I fully understand that. But I'm excited because it's something that I feel I want to think about more. I want to understand it more. I want to focus on it more. Paramapurusha is my own big I. So what I was thinking this morning is, what is your big I? It is your normal I. It's just the same. It's your feeling of I. When it is not limited to the body, all right? So your normal feeling of I, the only difference from the I of Paramapurusha is that your I is related to this body, your history, your identity, your small self. If you take away, remove that small identity and small body, which we do when we focus down in our chakra point. When you come to your point, the body is gone, the world is gone, history, identity, all those things are gone, and what's left? Just that feeling of I. And then, if you cover or surround that small I, that point of being, that point of I, with the feeling of the infinite, then it becomes the big I. All you have done is throw away the small body and replace it with the infinite body of Paramapurusha. But the feeling of I is the same. All right? So your big I is the same as your small I. It's just got a much bigger jacket, right? You take off your small jacket of your limited identity and you put on the big jacket. But the I is the same, the feeling of I. So understand that feeling. I exist. I am here. I am. Right? And once you understand that, then that feeling of devotion is there. So work on it. Focus on it. In that stage, there is but one dominant thought. Whatever I do, be it social, political, or socio-economic service, the motivating thought in my mind will be to please Paramapurusha. So, when you reach that stage of devotion, that's the dominating thought that is in your mind. But why wait until you reach that stage to take that thought? If that's the thought of the highest stage that we're aiming at, then start practicing it now, thinking about it now. Whatever I do, be it social, political, or socio-economic service, let my motivating thought be to please Paramapurusha. So, again, so this is the second ideation that I say is simple and effective. To take that thought, let all my actions be pleasing to Paramapurusha. It's not a complicated thought. It's simple. It's easy, right? Focus on that, and it will always be helpful. It will always point you in the right direction. It will always transform a mundane action into a blissful action. So it's a really blissful, sweet thought. Why should we please Paramapurusha? Why should political and socio-economic service for the masses please him? All beings on this earth are his children. If one serves his children, he will certainly be pleased. Right? So, you have only one goal: to please Paramapurusha in all possible ways whenever an opportunity presents itself. Again, simplicity brings power. If you have many goals, you lose the simplicity and you lose your power. If you have only one goal, then, life is simple, direct, and it's easy to be successful. So make that one goal to please Paramapurusha whenever there is any opportunity. And so that's an ideation. Work on it. Try and keep it as often as you can throughout the day. And you'll find that if you can do that, whatever you are doing, if you take that thought in your mind as you're doing it, it will bring a smile to your face and it will make the work beautiful. So I'll just go back to that ideation of you are never alone. So how one way to cultivate that is to just take that thought. You are never alone. I remember that beautiful quote by Baba, you are never alone or helpless. The force that guides the stars keeps you to keep that ideation in your mind. I am never alone or helpless. And another way, which Baba also talks about a lot, is have that ideation that Paramapurusha is witnessing you, right? He is thinking you. You exist because he is imagining you. He is imagining, thinking, creating you in this moment. You are never alone. So Baba explained why this is important. He said it's, as I said earlier, it's difficult sometimes to imagine something absolute or infinite, something as grand as the infinite Paramapurusha. Especially it's difficult for a finite, small human mind to imagine something so big. But we can get around that problem by thinking that the infinite is thinking of me. I am being witnessed. Now that's not so difficult to understand or to feel. I am being witnessed. So if you are being witnessed, you feel the presence of Paramapurusha. And if you combine that feeling of I am being witnessed or feeling that presence with pleasing that presence, right? It's hard to please something if you don't feel it's there. So first feel Paramapurusha is witnessing me, watching me, Paramapurusha is with me. You have that feeling of presence and then serve that presence, please that presence. Combine those two ideas, all right? I hope you found those thoughts useful. Have a lovely day. Namaskar.